Okay then everybody, welcome to another Leicester Lives podcast in association with Igloo Staffing Solutions. Don't forget, if you enjoy the podcast, hit like, leave a comment, and as always, do not forget to subscribe. Now, in front of me today, we've got Adam Stevens. King Stevo, Coalville, ex-Coalville manager. Adam, thanks very much for coming in today, being a guest on the Leicester Lives podcast.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to be here. Yeah, looking forward to it.
You know how it works, Adam. We like to roll it all the way back to the start and talk about growing up in Leicestershire. So take it away.
Yeah, sunny Coalville, going all the way back. Well, I absolutely loved my childhood. Proper mining town, Coalville, as you know. Dad was in the pits for years. My granddad, all the family, the whole shebang, like lots of people in Coalville was. My mum from New Parks originally, met my dad at a young age, came over to Coalville and became a Coalvillian. But yeah, loved every minute of it. Proper people. Said about, my old man, lots of stories regarding him. And yeah, just the whole shebang of the people was brilliant.
Bit of a side question, Adam. What's your opinion on the changes in Coalville? Because obviously it's gone from this mining town to having no or very little industry itself. What's your opinion on that?
Poor, really. Once the pitch closed, you could just see it decline. And pretty much as the nation goes, there's not a lot of British industry, is there anymore? The whole thing which goes with it. And it used to be thriving, the pubs. I know my old man used to drink in the halfway house and it was bouncing, as every pub was in Coalville. And I look and I just think the characters which were in the town then, and pretty much you don't know so many people now. There's that many houses being built, people coming into the area, the factories which have been built on the outside, people coming in. So it's totally different to how I remember it as a kid. Yeah. And it's hard to tell my kids, of how it was then. Yeah. Which is a shame, but
I always think a lot of younger people don't even think about the coal in Coalville, to be fair, do they? They just think of it as a town without really analysing the name.
Yeah, when you go to history, I look and I think it's something to be proud of, and you would think anybody with half the weight of gold would have the picture of the statue of the miner coming into Coalville with its heritage. How much America loves English heritage. Yep. And you can make a right good go of it. But no, we knock down the Discovery Park. We try and get rid of that dark side of nature from the miners' strike and, the whole shebang, get rid of that. Yep. And we don't want to know that it existed. But George Stephenson, the whole picture of Coalville, what it brought to the town, against the dialect, or that many people moved in from the northeast, Scotland, everywhere, and it's been a very proud industrial town in the past.
So what schools did you go to when you were growing up, Adam?
Yeah, I started off at St Clair's Roman Catholic Primary School. And then moved on to Delisle, RC in Loughborough, and absolutely loved school. Started off with nuns in the primary school, so it was. I found them hard but fair. Yep. Made some good friends at primary school. Nun's sister Kieran ran it with an iron fist. Remember the days when I was captain of the school football team, Mass was on singing assembly. Yeah, we thought, tidy the kit. I'll tell you what, time is it? We'll do that again, and we'll do it again to get out of it. And she was watching out the window. We didn't play football for a while, put it like that. So no, it was. All we did really was football or netball. And like now, the kids get so many choices of the sports that they do in PE. It was football, netball, and a tree in PE. That was how it went. Yeah. So.
And was your sort of football prowess sort of picked up at an early age?
Yeah. I can't remember what year it was in primary school, but ended up playing 3 years above myself for the football team. we played in green, and the rivals were Beaverdale across the field. So it was a bit like the Celtic Rangers thing across the field, even at that young age. So I got into football because we've got a football daft family. My granddad was a decent player back in the day, during the war years, like pre-war. Played for Coalville Town, the original Coalville Town, where he was getting paid for the pleasure when I think he was getting more for playing football at that point than what he was working down the coal mine. We're all mad on football, and then I started off at Ibstock Juniors, made some good pals from such a young age. Ash Taylor, obviously you know Ash.
Yep.
So he was playing there, and went through school with quite a lot of them, and remain pals to this present day. And then I was decent. Ended up being selected for the district team, the county team, and then Leicester on trial. All these clubs pretty much as you get older. You do when you're half decent, and then went to Notts County, Grimsby, and there for a couple of months at a time. Thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it going through my school years.
What do you think about the trials now at clubs compared to maybe the trials back then? Because, when I look back, it was only really the pretty talented kids who had the trials with the professional clubs back in the day, whereas now the clubs just swamp areas, don't they?
Yeah, and you'll see these like development centres and centre for this, centre for that, academy this, something's called an academy, something's not, whereas in the past it was, here you go. I remember the School of Excellence at Notts County. It used to be on the old back of the ground. It was called the Cowshed. It was like, here you go. That was the training, in there, how it worked. But I think you had the pleasure of playing with your friends as well. I used to play for the, say, Notts in the morning and that part, and then we'd play for Ibstock in the afternoon, for certain time.
Yeah.
And whereas the kids aren't allowed to do that now.
Yeah.
And it's all pretty much bang, bang, bang. And I think there's that much pressure, I don't know, from parents and the whole big picture. Look at the telly, I want to be Harry Kane. Which is great, but the chances are remote, to say the least. Everyone wants a dream, there's nothing wrong with that. You can't knock that. But it's important that you need that another focus as well. And when I was growing, it was a school of hard knocks, and that was how it was.
Yeah. So did you always harbour ambitions to be a professional footballer?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Pretty much everyone who kicked a ball, it was always a dream. Used to watch Leicester from a young age, going right back 1980. Oh God, I can't remember what it was. It was against, I think it was Ipswich, my first game, probably 1982. I think roughly at home when Eric Gates was playing for Ipswich and all them boys. And then, it just stuck with me. I remember the Wolves game, kid's birthday party, mum and dad, my uncle, took the kids from school, and it kicked off outside the ground, and it was like with a whole school party there. Leicester Wolves. So and then we were hooked really. Yeah. All the way through the Pleat years and the playoff years. O'Neill going all the way back. And then as you get older, you start going in the transit vans going down. You don't see it now, do you? You know what I mean? But it was brilliant.
Talking to someone the other day, Adam, when we were talking about the Pleat years, and how, let's face it, Leicester does seem to have a pretty entitled fan base at the minute. If they're not winning at half time, they're booing the team off the pitch. I don't know how they would have got on during the Pleat years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think the attendance is 9,000 against Plymouth. All these games, and they've had it good now. They've had it good. I mean, the old grounds that certainly we used to go to, and the Pleat years, there would be something to moan about. You can remember the team, can't you? Laurie Madden, son off all these boys, and but they were good. It was a working class game though. I used to go with my dad. We used to stand on the members' side, down the side. Then we went into the cop. As you get older, but they were great days, and it was affordable. To take the kids, a couple of quid down the side.
That's it.
Stand on the cop. It was all affordable football. But now, it's got to be hard for families. families, you know, paying what they do now to get to go and watch Leicester. Hence why probably a lot of people switch to go and watch non-league football now. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I remember going into the cop, you know, 350 to sort of get in at that time, went up to about 450. You know, if you put that in today's about 11, 12 quid or whatever, you know. Yeah. But I mean, it's not 11 or 12 quid to get it. And that was sometimes first division as well, you know, Gordon Milne days and all the rest of it.
And you get that as well, and you pick it up in coins that the away fans had thrown, so you're like, happy days, wasn't it?
So when did you leave school, Adam?
1991.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1991. 16, and I got released from football. I was like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? It was a case of do I stop on at school? Because I was okay, clever, but not out of this world. So I ended up doing some A-levels at Coalville Technical College, which was I really interested in doing it? No, probably not. But it was just a case of doing something. So I ended up doing that, and then ended up drifting a few different jobs, you know?
Yeah.
So I ended up in a paint factory for a bit.
Yeah.
And just not really enjoying any of it, to be honest, but then playing football as well.
I was going to say, playing football at the weekends and in the week. Who were you playing for then?
School. I went. It was Gresley in their youth team, Gresley Rovers at the time. Yeah. And then ended up going to Hinckley Athletic, the old to Middlefield Lane. Yeah. Which was brilliant. You know, that's where I started learning how to have a drink pretty much. You know, the old boys at football, some great lads there at the time. I think I was 18, be about 18. And it took me under the wing. So the Blackpool trip started to come. Yeah. The big booze ups. Some proper characters in that team. Yeah. Again, I still see them now.
What sort of level were Hinckley playing at then?
It was the Midland Alliance. It was then. So probably similar to the Southern League now. You know, pretty much now. Other leagues have all altered. But it was really, really good times. Changed me into a man, but a bit really.
So is it safe to say, you know, work is just sort of ticking over, but you're really still living for your football?
Yeah, without a doubt. It was, so I was going on, and then I went to Hinckley, then I went over to down in Fords, Daventry. A guy called Baz Wilcox took me down there, which was brilliant, to be fair. A few of the old players were there, lads from around the Leicester area, and we had a good side. And then ended up smashing my leg up in a car crash, which brings a whole new dimension to my life as such.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about that incident, Adam.
Yeah, so I just started at the brickyard as a job, which, you know, looked decent. Working with Ash Taylor there. And then I just met Kelly, my wife, and then we ended up going on a night out after football with my mates from over Coalville. Been to the old Flaming Colossus in Leicester. Coming back near the Birch Tree pub in the minibus, and a car hit us head on the wrong side of the road, which really just, you say, unlucky but extremely lucky. We ended up in a field, smashed to pieces, minibus concertinaed in, people are out the window in the field, and I'm stuck behind the driver in the seat. So only thing I can recall then is I'm in a daze. I can just see my leg wide open, everything there, and obviously I'd had a few pops, Red Bull and vodka, I think. I was on, so I can remember the taste of my mouth. You know, it's funny in it to this day. And the fireman comes on who were new. And I said, well, if you just get him off me, I can move out of it. I'll always remember it. And he went, no, you fucking wait. You'll stay still. Next thing I know, I woke up in the Royal and I was in there for a couple of months. Yeah. We're on bed rest, pretty much. So I'd smashed my hip, my knee had gone, and it was ripped. You see the scars on my legs now, you know, absolutely ripped to pieces. So and I just met the missus as well, who was just come back from Ibiza. And yeah, then we ended up with a kid on the way. So I was without a job, practically a cripple, so I had everything going for me.
Tough couple of months, I'd imagine, in the hospital, Adam.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be fair, there were some good times in there. You know, when Leicester were playing, these were the days when the lads brought me in, a couple of pints of Guinness on match days. We were in there. There were people worse than me. You know, the couple of us had been in the accident. There was a soldier who'd fell asleep at the wheel, and he'd on the motorway, so he'd got third-degree burns. A lad who'd fell off a ride on the back of the dustbin lorry. He'd got third-degree burns and breakages. Yeah. So you always think there's somebody worse off.
Absolutely.
But we tried to make it as fun as what we could without moving a great deal. So with the great fights and all of that. So yeah, it was tough times, but helped to strengthen you as a character.
And when did you find out the missus was pregnant? When you were actually in the hospital, or
no, just a bit after.
Just a bit after. Yeah,
we had a bit of we went away to Tenerife and R&R after it, and then it was bang, 'cause we didn't have anywhere to live. She was working for Hinckley and Bosworth Council. There in the offices, and I was. Basically. So, but no, we managed to get our heads together. Got stuff in order. I was fortunate to have a little bit of compensation, which helped us get on the ladder, and our parents helped us out. You know, to be fair, where they could. So we ended up getting a first house then in Coalville. So I remember it, 32,000 quid.
I was going to say, how much was your first
32
house?
grand, Central Road, little two-bed terraced, and where the little family started. So brilliant times.
It's incredible now. You look at house prices now, you wonder how some of the youngsters are ever going to get on the housing market, really, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean I think I've got two girls, Amber and Jasmine. Amber lives in Derby when she finished uni, and it's tough for her. You know, she's having to rent. She's trying to save to buy, but the price of the rent, and it's so tough for the kids now. Because the wages don't match the rent prices and the mortgage prices, do they?
That's right.
Wages,
that's right. You know? And the mortgage companies don't make it very easy either, do they? I mean, they literally now. I mean, you have to fit to their pattern. 100%. Otherwise, you're not in the ball game.
And you look and you think the deposit well, they need to put down. It's a shambles really for them. Bless them.
Absolutely.
But I've got two good girls. Both work hard. One's a fashion designer. One works for the uni. So pleased that out of the adversity we've gained strength. And but even them times, I think I've spoke. I used to just keep my mind going busy and active in the gym, and just the whole big picture of it. Just keeping myself fit, something I've always done.
We've spoken previously about the importance of health, the gym, exercise, on mental health, because there was a time people just thought about the gym, physical health, but we were saying recently mental health is a large part of it.
Without me personally now, I'm knackered without it. Mentally, I need it to keep me ticking over, and that's a fact, because I'm a different person without going to the gym. Because I need it. I need my dogs. I need all that to help me function, because it's something that I've always done. I've always enjoyed. I can't run anymore because of my knees and my hips. So I ended up having two hip replacements, but I can use the gym, I can keep fit, I can do what I need to do to compensate for what I can't do anymore as well. But like you said, the power of it mentally, for the population is, I think it's an amazing thing.
So when you recover from the accident, or as well as you can do, any thoughts about playing football again, or did you think that was pretty much
it? Me as a person, I was, I remember the words that the surgeon said, because my mum and dad were there, bless them as well, and it was, I can't see you playing football again. And I was like, well, I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands, and knowing me, I will work, because I love my fitness. And I thought, no, I'm not letting that. No, I'm not. I'll give it my best, and if my best isn't good enough, then I'll take that. But I'm not being written off as in one foul swoop because of thinking I've had this done and had that done. So I lived in the gym, started building myself up, and you know what, started running, started getting the ball out again, and then I ended up, I think 2.5 years later, ended up at Barwell, just went down to pre-season, and ended up, playing. And to be fair, I just such a buzz. I was on an total adrenaline. I was that fit, probably the fittest I'd ever been. Ended up playing as a wing back at that point, something I'd never played. Probably hadn't got the skill to play it as an attacking wing back, but I could certainly run and tackle. And then the form just went down like that a bit, really, which could be expected after so long out the game. Sure. You get the high and then you dip, and so then it was ended up from there going to went to Shepshire, and had some good times there. Again, another good football club, and then we ended up then at Coalville. Yeah. So Lee Harriman, great lad, rings me up and said, "Do you fancy it?" And I thought, well, yeah, I mean, I live in Coalville. Yeah. Chance to play. And I did do, and then we ended up that season, switched from right back to centre half and never looked back. That season we ended up playing Wycombe Wanderers in the FA Cup first round. We're in the Midland Alliance then, and we lost 1-0. So it was a great feeling. Yeah. You know, to come from that to that, and the whole picture of it, you know, in the town at that point, because the gates were probably 50 or 60. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, not the best. And suddenly we had Sky TV following us around in the Litten Tree in Coalville. Yeah. My assistant manager doing, he used to call them spotties with Thai people in there. You know what I mean? It was a great time. And then to get there, and you looked at the Wycombe team at the time, like Nathan Tyson, who had the big money move. He gives me a shirt after the game. Yeah. Stonebridge, Roger Johnson, Williamson, you know, Gus Ullenby, you know, played for Ipswich, all of these, and we got done off a set piece right at the end, and we went in without a centre forward, Rich Saunders, who pulled his hamstring when he was on trial at Grimsby at that point. So it could have been a different game with him up top. But it was a good team, good lads.
And did the town get behind?
The team. Yeah, I think we took over 1,000, you know, behind the goal, and that, you know, the away end, we filled that there. And in the pub afterwards, the Litten Tree, which is now shut. But it was brilliant. And then on the Tuesday coming back, we played Ratby Sports, I think, in the Leicestershire Senior Cup or whatever it was. I think there were about 2 there, I think, with a dog. So that was a lot high and the low, and we were shite, to be fair. Yeah.
And how long were you there at Coalville on that first spell?
To be honest, in that first spell, that was the end of it, because I played in a game and then I turned offline and I was just stuck. And I thought something's not right here with my hip, the one that I broke. And so I just said I'd come off, and then I went and got it scanned, x-rayed, and it was severe arthritis in there, so which had developed from obviously from the accident. So that ended up as a calling time on my playing career.
And what age were you then, Adam?
29, 30. So still young, really.
Absolutely,
and missed 2.5 years of that with an injury, so you know, it was a shame, really, because again, when I did have my accident, I was probably playing as well as what I'd ever done prior to it, but you come out of it with your life, and you always take positives out of negatives, don't you?
Of course you do. So you call time on your playing career. Are you already thinking towards coaching?
Yeah, because I took a couple of coaching badges, you know, while I was off, and I thought, you know, I would like to go, and Shepshire were quite good to me, you know, rang me up, said, would you like to get involved with coaching with Pete McGurk? And I thought, I'll go in as assistant manager, and it was a case of getting to know the ropes. Knew a lot of the lads there anyway. And we had a good time there. Then Pete left, and I ended up taking over. first job in football, and I would say probably a bit too headstrong. You know, all in, nothing, quite fiery, which probably wasn't at that time the right opportunity for me, so I ended up leaving. And then think about things, and then Coalville rang me up about going in there as a manager, which ended up really as a no-brainer. You know, they were struggling in the Midland Alliance. Lee had left. I think Brendan Phillips came in, and it didn't work out. And so I ended up there. And to be fair, from then on, we just went forward and forward and forward and forward. So I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. What sort of crowds were Coalville pulling in then? Were they sort of starting to pick up a little bit?
Not really. I think probably 100 if you had to start with. But I took it on. You know, I don't know if you've seen my record from when I went in. I think the first season we ended up getting to the League Cup final, lost against Shifnal. Then we ended up, I think, third, second, then first, gradually moving on, and then the season which tipped it off really was the promotion season, and going to Wembley, where we were still a small club. Gates was starting to pick up a little bit, but not massively, but it was improving. And we had a massive, brilliant FA Vars run where the Gates did go through the roof. And we ended up beating Kings Lynn in the semi-final. I mean, Kings Lynn compared to Coalville was like Liverpool, Manchester with, I don't know, Barnsley or lower. You know what I mean? That sort of ego of a club, you know. That was what it was. And we'd had some great scalps on the way. And in the semi-final, we were absolutely excellent. We were excellent over both legs, winning the first leg comfortably, and then going away to Kings Lynn. Kicked off quite a bit in the home leg, and then it followed on there, and it was we ended up with bananas coming on the pitch at the Black Lads at the time, which was quite scary. There were dogs running around like Benny Hill, police dogs, but there weren't police dogs from a security firm like that on long leads. It was like, it was carnage. Windows were in on the bus. But we had a great day. I remember the bloke from the FA to back getting the players in. I just went, "God, if we're going to Wembley," so we stopped out celebrating. You know, but we had a real big rivalry with Kings Lynn at that time. You know, Gary Setchell, excellent manager who I speak to this day, and then obviously on the promotion, then we ended up playing them again. You know what I mean, in the league. So then it escalated again. So. But great memory, and then we obviously then started going up the leagues.
So tell us about Wembley.
It was brilliant. We stopped at the De Vere Hotel, just outside of London. I think at Luton, Watford, I think. And it was just feeling like you were $1 million as a manager and as a player. You know, waking up. We went to the FA Trophy final to watch Darlington on the Saturday because we played on the Sunday. So we travelled up, went to that game, watched that, you know, obviously get a feel of Wembley, and then there we were on the bus to the ground, and you're seeing the flags pulling in. You know, the whole town was pretty much there against Whitley Bay, who were the FA Vars maestros. We're underdogs again, and it was probably one of the best performances that you'd see from a losing side at Wembley. You know, if you watch the highlights on YouTube now, it was a fantastic game, and as a manager, you couldn't ask any more. It just at the end, like Sean Bowles, we ended up with lads on the line, something that we'd never do. And unbelievable goalkeeper, good friend of mine, and they ended up scoring last kick of the game when we missed that many chances, and it was something that we'd have never have done at that point, but that was just probably the Wembley, because if it had been on the touchline, I'd have been, you have to get out, you know what I mean? But you know, it was a fantastic occasion. All the players did themselves proud, and I was proud of every single one of them. And then to see my mum, my dad, me missus, you know, the kids, her family, all of my family there, even walking up the steps, you know, it's not nice as a loser, but, you know, it was a great feeling.
Not something that happens every day, is it?
No, it's not. You know, from my mum and dad who'd been with me all through the football years, it was, it was fantastic.
And were the lads downcast on the way back, or?
No, I made sure they weren't.
Yeah.
We filled the bus up with ale. It was sponsored by Carlsberg, so we got a few free crates there. And we had a party at the Hermitage Hotel, which was excellent. Everyone was there. Then we went back round to one of the players' houses, which went on into the morning. So yeah, and that was very lively. So yeah, it was. No, I made sure that it was upbeat, because I think if we'd have not got promoted, because we won the league, we had to win the last game, and we won it convincingly. We won the last, I think it was 7-8 games to win the league, and we won that convincingly at Alva Church.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a brilliant day, brilliant season.
Yeah.
So yeah, over the moon with that.
So what happened the following season then? Because obviously you had the highs of that particular season. I mean, bar that defeat at Wembley, I mean, almost the perfect season, really, you know, promotion and a Wembley appearance. Yeah. It's always going to be a tough act to follow.
Yeah, so we went up into the league above with the old Evo stick, it was called then. And we acquitted ourselves pretty well. We had a bit of up and down start. We lost a few players, some couldn't do the travelling, etc. We brought a few in, a few went out. But no, we ended up holding our own, and then we used that as a springboard to build on again. And from then on, really, we just had progress pretty much. So yeah, so it was a good ground in that first season, and then we ended up going toe-to-toe with Kings Lynn season after that, where we were clear at Christmas, flying, and then the bad weather came in on the west side of the country to the middle, and the east coast didn't have any of the snow, so we ended up not playing for quite a while. So they cut out their games, and we'd lost our momentum then.
Yeah.
So we ended up finishing second.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs, which we lost. And then the following season was Hales Owen again. We were up there again, lost it in the last couple of games.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, lost in the playoffs. But we're having some fantastic moments, and the club was going to here from when we started.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
I was going to say never a dull moment, because, I remember going to Coalville when Lee Harriman was manager, and like you said, 2 men and a dog, really wasn't much going on, not really a lot of interest or whatever, and then you go along to Coalville and, you know, you just start taking the club to places they probably never even dreamed of before.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So I remember, because I ended up actually having a hip replacement, so at that back end of that season I was out of action. I was on my crutches for the playoffs. I've got a new whip. I spent the last couple of weeks out of action. So yeah, it was, sometimes things go against you, don't they? But
they do,
But no, it's a fantastic achievement, because we were a small club, in relation to the ones in there. So we got to there, and then and the following season, again, I needed a breather, because I'd had an hip replacement, and I was like, I was knackered. I needed a breather, needed a bit of time out with the family. Yeah. And so that's how the first spell finished, really.
Yeah. So amicable.
Needed that breather. Like I said, created memories. Had some fantastic players along the way at that first spell. The group of players I had with me, at Wembley, Sean Bowles, wouldn't get a better keeper, who played Ash Brown, Lee Everett, who missed he got sent off, so he ended up missing Wembley in one of the league games. He got stitched there by one of the other players, and he, that was his last season, which it was a shame for him, really, because he was a top draw professional. And but yeah, it was another great lad. Lee Miville in midfield. There was Ant Carney, Ryan Robbins, Jerome Murdoch. Jabba was a great lad. I mentioned that he went on a stag do to Amsterdam just before the final, and he was the one who got drugs tested at Wembley. So that was that was different. So we ended up with a spell out the game. But what a player! But yeah, there was some good players amongst them, and then the other lads as well. I've had with me Cam Stewart, all good players, and a few of them are now managing as well. So which is good to see. Yeah.
So you have this little break out just to sort of recharge the batteries. When do you go back in again?
Earlier than I thought. I went back in to help Wayne Elcrow at Grantham, just as a coach number 2, just because I wasn't really interested in managing, going back in that quick, but probably about 3 months down the line. So I ended up doing that, and then next thing I knew, he left with his old manager to go to, I think it was Belper, and I got left holding the baby at Workington away without knowing I was doing it. Workington away of all the places.
Yeah.
So we go up to there. I think we lost the game, and coming back, there's a big crash over the Snake Pass Pennine Way, whatever it's called up there. Coming home, and it was like a Star Wars film. Sea King helicopters coming down. And Dennis, who was one of the coaches, he was ex-para, works in a prison, and he was the first response, really. He was a first aider and all, and he ended up treating them there. So I think I got home about 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. So that was my introduction to managerial life at Grantham. So never a dull moment.
Good club, Grantham?
Yeah, excellent. To be fair, they're on the knees with money trouble at the time. But assembled a good bunch of lads, which we improved. I think we finished 8th the first season. Then what was it? Then we're in the playoffs, and just with, which I've always done, embodied a good team spirit. You know, like a drink together, and that close bonding, run on a small squad, getting lads running through brick walls, and that's what they were. You know, through nobody expected us to achieve what we did.
Yeah.
From a goalkeeper, got nobody really what Kieran Preston. Put a ball where you want it. We were very direct. Danny, we hit it to Danny Meadows on the right hand side. He'd flick it round the corner. Lee Shaw, who got the move to Chesterfield, was in on goal. Simple, but we were very, very effective. And how hard we worked, how hard we ran, and we could play as well. Like I said, Potsy, bless him, he had bowel cancer, the boy, a bit later on. But he was on 20 quid, got him from pub football.
Yeah.
Lee Shaw, the centre forward, got the move. He was playing local football. Steph Gilinski, Tom Bashir, two massive centre halves. Reece Lewis, been there for years. Teacher just ran and ran and ran. Ollie, ex-Forest youth, just running there, snotted people. And it was a good mix. People hated playing against us.
Yeah.
You know, on the documentaries of, I know when we'd seen the Salford thing, and we used to go ahead, it was windy, and then we'd get all the ball boys to disappear, and I'd tie the bag of balls up. You know, they were, it was horrible. If you could imagine Millwall away at Coalville Lane, that was what it was like. But we had that great camaraderie. We had it. Yeah, it was brilliant, and we had some fun in games, right fun in games. I remember the chairman used to bring me game birds. And not that you could do it now, but we used to have them, and then I'd hide them in the lads' shirts and in the wash bags. They'd run out the changing room, the screen. You got a goose like that, you know. But I say you can't do them things now and that, you know. But it was great times. A Christmas party on the out in Grantham, and the lads slept on the high jump mats and the actual stadium.
Yeah.
So unbelievable times. Yeah, good.
And how long were you there at Grantham for, Adam?
2.5, 3 seasons. So we get into the playoff final. We won away at Warrington 3-0 in the semi-final. Fans were ecstatic. There's an away following. It was a feeling massive achievement for them. They were good people. Like I said, not a lot of money, but the fans were fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we lost at Ashton in the playoff final, which was a shame really how it fell, because we were at Warrington away on the Wednesday because we finished 6th.
Yeah.
Was it 5th? Well, no, 5th. So we played Warrington away, who finished 2nd. We beat them 3-0 away on the midweek on the Wednesday, but then we were back on the road again Saturday morning to Manchester. And it was red hot, and a lot of the lads in the team were brickies and all that. So by the time they got back to Grantham, Lincoln area, you were talking 2 o'clock in the morning. Within 24 hours, 48, we were back on the coach again up to Manchester. It was red hot, and looked at us from the kick-off, and we didn't have anything left in the tank. You know, that game was probably, we peaked on that semi-final, because if that had been a final, it would have been, that was how you wanted to play in that final, but our legs weren't there.
Was that Ashton United? Was
yeah,
it?
that's right. Yeah, proper old school ground.
Yeah, I've been to that ground. Tight little ground, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, proper old school ground there.
Yeah.
Took loads of fans and pubs around, but yeah. So yeah, that was what brought my spell at Grantham to an end.
Yeah. And then back for more punishment at Coalville.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. I was travelling quite a long way, and I had the call. Coalville had got promoted, but were languishing near the bottom. You know, Tommy did a fantastic job there in getting him promotion, but then he left. And they rang me up and said, would I fancy it? And I thought, well, it's a no-brainer, nearer to our home, you know, the same level. So yeah, walked into there, and again, that didn't look back really, as far as success, because the gates were probably low 100s, and then by the time last season came, you know, they were pushing 600, 700, 800s. Yeah. But I know football's fickle, especially like with being Leicester Town. You know, it can go like that. You know, but yeah, suddenly we had a crowd, and we established ourselves as a football team, football club.
Yeah, and of course, FA Cup glory.
Yes, yeah, we're brilliant, to be fair. Last season we'd achieved progress every single year. The year before, we lost in the playoff final against Peterborough, and then going into last season, FA Cup. You think with Drew Notts County, the round before the first round, which it's a local derby, 16, 20 miles up the road, whatever it is. Suddenly we're filling the away end at Notts County, over 2,000 people there. We're in the concourse, you get in the concourse, we're warming up, there's no fans in the ground, and you could hear them, and our fans were absolutely amazing. It was bouncing, and then to win that game was a fantastic achievement against the best team in the National League last year. They rested a few players, but then they brought them on with half an hour to go. Yeah. So, yeah, we rode a luck a couple of times, but we did create good chances, but we had a good side. It was a good team, and every single one of them lads deserves that chance to go and play higher. I looked at Luke Shaw, bless him, scored to win his hometown club. He's had looking back, his mum and dad were proud of him. He lost his mum recently to illness. And that trouble with his knee, but he can look back on that. A top lad. I brought him for Grantham when he'd done his ACL to Coalville, but I put my trust in him because I knew he'd come back, and he scores the winner. So it was brilliant. But the whole team going through, top keeper in Paul White, who we got from Peterborough Sports, wasn't really playing, but he came in. It was brilliant for me. Going across the back four. Jay Keggleton was an ex-West Ham youth team player with Declan Rice. He was in the side. Shame for him because he's probably finished, with his knee now. We missed him at the back end of the season. Chris Robertson, ex-pro, centre half. What a lad, what a character. Headed everything. Elliot Putnam, a Leicester boy, brilliant. Came in, brought him in again, took us to another level. Joe Dole Charles ran his heart into the ground, winning tackles. I could just go on and on. Tim Berridge, Tom McGlinchey, excellent footballers who all should really, will go on now, probably certainly play National League level. All of them. So I think potentially, and obviously Ash Chambers, who Leicester's youngest ever, player, and Billy Key, who was part of it. Course, again, another brilliant person. Yeah. And that's what we did. We got brilliant people, good individuals. We all got on well together. A collective group, which I've spoke about, which I've always done, and they ran through brick walls for each other. We played 4-4-2 most of it. One drops in, and we just hunted. We dropped into shape, but when players like McGlinchey, Shaw, Berridge, Chambers, Key, George Wilson, who were brought in from Loughborough Uni, who's flying at Eltringham. You got all these boys on the pitch, and they could do damage.
And safe to say, at Notts County, the crowd with the 12th man.
Oh yeah, it was bouncing. If you'd have had that in a championship game, you'd be like, wow. And that's what it was. We outsung them, and we certainly made the day of it, you know, and the night of it.
I was going to say, I watched the highlights the other day, funnily enough, and I actually ended up watching them 2 or 3 times because, you know, it's a fantastic game and a fantastic atmosphere, and then all the celebrations at the end. You know, it's just a brilliant watch, to be fair.
Oh God, yeah, it was brilliant because I know we went into the Wetherspoons in Coalville, which was our symbol of our team meetings in there. Really, after training, you know, after games, we'd all go in there as a group. You know, which added to that. Group that we had, as in getting results together. You know, call it old school, but it worked. You know, and I don't know. You know, I think a lot could learn from that. To be honest.
Yeah,
You know, it's like having your your mates back in a pub.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same principles as football.
Yeah.
So we had a great night, and me and Mrs went away to Scarborough the next day. I can't remember driving up really, to be honest, but that was for that. And then we ended up listening to the draw in a pub, a locals pub in Scarborough, where they put the tellies on for us, and there it come up, Charlton Athletic away again, won the FA Cup, haven't they? You know, the Old Valley, and I was like, wow, gosh, you know, again another fantastic away following.
Yeah. How many did Coalville take down to Charlton?
Oh God, I think it was pushing 3,000. I think it must have been that away end because it was practically full. I think certainly 2.5, 3. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, without a doubt. And you look and you think the noise, you know, because we're totally outsung them, and we again going down the day before, and then travelling to the ground. You see the valley. You think of all the players which have played for Charlton, been on that ground and played, and you could see the old terrace in the background when the valley had probably the biggest terrace.
I think it was, the biggest terrace, wasn't it?
You could see like the old remains of that, and you're like, wow, you know, it's an occasion to play, you know, for such a club such as us, and a manager such as me, really, you know. I'll look back and think, you know, it's there, Wembley Stadium, and you're thinking, you know, well, whatever, if you do it again, you know what I mean? You know, the great occasions to manage at.
And another game which could have gone either way, really, wasn't it? You know, it's...
Yeah, it was frustrating really because they scored from a set play. The smallest man on the pitch scored it. I had one blocked off and he heads it in. They got 2-0 up, but we kept in there and we get back to 2-1. And the lads made an unbelievable clearance off the line to make it 2-2. So Ash Chambers got us a goal back, and then we certainly camped in to make it 2-2. And then we had a chance to deliver the ball in the box. We passed it sideways. They broke on us and made it 3. And then obviously the game goes away from you in that last part of it because we were chucking bodies at it. But yeah, we certainly had created moments and we caused them problems at 2-1. So it could have been, but you know what, the occasion was something else. And you know, you put that, you think they started off the fans with as they call it, the little CEC. Some of the lads that we've followed us for years, about 4 or 5 of them, when there were nobody there. You know, when they took over, you know, you go from they were pushing to get 100 and something to that amount like that, and you know, and in the league games, then it shows how far that I took them, really. You know what I mean? So, and me and the players had.
Well, I think that could be proven by the fact that, you know, I've seen the development of Coalville as a club. And it used to be, people used to say, I support Leicester, but I sometimes nip down and watch Coalville.
Yeah.
A lot of people now will say, I support Coalville.
Yeah.
And maybe I nip down and see the City now and again.
Yeah,
you know, there literally is a fan base now, you know, a relatively large fan base.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, I'll take pride in those, you know, in those moments. Yeah. I think, whatever I do next, you know, I think I'll be, fully pleased with what we've created with a great group behind me, not just me, my staff, and the group of players. I'll keep going on about that collectiveness, that socialism amongst the group, and that always stands me in good stead because I look, you know, my record going somewhere, and it does do that. So, you know, I'll certainly taken pride on that.
And then a tough run into the end of the season, really, wasn't it? After the highs of the cup.
Yeah, it was, and to be honest, we're about there. And to lose the league on goal difference was tough to take, really, because I think obviously Jake Eggleton, who I spoke about, was probably the best defender barn on around, to be honest, and he did his knee, and I think we'd have probably did it if he would have been there.
Yeah.
Honest, making excuses, but we were excellent. We were excellent. We had a couple of iffy results where for whatever reason we didn't. Did it catch up with us? I don't know. And then we go and win the last two, and then to lose it on goal difference was highly unfortunate. But I'll give Tamworth the due. They finished extremely well. They had a dicky spell. We had a dicky spell.
Yeah.
And then they ended up beating us by 2 goals.
Yeah.
Which, again, you think really both should go up, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
But then you go into the players, and I think you're naturally into the playoffs. I think you're naturally on a possible downer, mentally.
Yeah.
Because funny enough, every time I've gone into the playoffs, I've always finished second, and then I think you got that close to winning the league.
Yep.
Then you change over straight away onto the Tuesday, and they probably, the energy levels it probably takes out of you mentally and physically, it can be a big ask, and hence, we ended up not going up, and Rushall beat us on penalties. And then they win the final on penalties, and they finished about 1 million points behind us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's
how often does that happen?
That's how the playoffs work. They're the rules at the start, and that's what you go with. But yeah, so yeah, it was a shame.
So how did you summarise that season? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you've had those tremendous lows at the end, but you've had so many highs along the way as well.
Yeah.
Did you see it as a successful season or a season?
Yeah, I think you put it into perspective, and I think look, Tamworth are a far bigger football club than us. They are, fact.
Yeah.
History, fan base.
Yeah.
It is, and a lot of Nuneaton boroughs, all of these, your Stourbridges, Telfords who are in the league. They are traditional football clubs, and that's what they are. And we were fantastic. We were fantastic. Squad wasn't massive, but. Yeah, the lads can be proud of the effort. Yeah, disappointing because we got so close.
Yeah.
But I look back and you try and take those positives, and you think how we performed in the FA Cup. We went in with quite a few injuries as well. And we just got done by 2 goals. And it was there. It was close for us. But we didn't take it, and it's happened to better managers than me, and happened to better football teams than us. But the lads, if you think you're going into the last game of the season on a shootout, it's one of them. But yeah, we did highly disappointed because it was there. And as you've seen with Tamworth, they've gone up and won the league again. So, you've got to give credit to Tamworth in the fact that they keep going again with an excellent manager, like us, a group of players which. Again, I've got a good team spirit. Not made too many changes this season, made a few, but they've gone on and they've won that league, which for them is a fantastic achievement.
And look at their ground and the facilities. It's like you said, they are a big club.
Yeah, exactly.
So on to this season then.
Yeah. So we go in. We lose a few players. Obviously, spoke about the 2 union boys, Connor and Ego. They go. Robbo, centre half, who spoke about, been brilliant for me. He done his thigh or hamstring, can't remember whatever it was. Billy. So there was a lot of a big mainstay characters, pretty much. So I've had to have pretty much of a rebuild. We've gone into the season without a goalkeeper who got banned for 7 games. Part of the new FA Heritage. Things which was highly ridiculous for saying something to one of his own players, but he ended up with a 7-game ban, which, let's be honest, when I was playing, he wouldn't even been
discussed about.
But that's for another day. So it was tough pre-season, really. Brought a few lads in. We had a lot of unavailability and injuries in pre-season, which kicked on into the season, really, and we ended up being up, down, was scrambling around for a keeper. My second keeper, Jake Laban, was. He got injured in pre-season, so we ended up scratching around for a goalkeeper, and it cost us at that first part, really. We weren't settled. We were probably weren't as fit as what my standards, my teams normally are to start a season. We've as I said, but I couldn't really control that. But we got going, got ourselves settled a bit. We ended up with a fantastic FA Trophy run. And as you'd expect with the pre-season, we were a bit up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But I'm a great believer in, I believe in what I do. And you kick on again. And we beat Boston again. It just round about the playoffs in the league above. We beat them. We beat Bath City away from home in the playoffs of the National League South. So it wasn't all doom and gloom. We weren't. Did we have a bit of a hangover from last season? Probably did. Some of the lads. But all of them, majority of them could go and step up and play in that, which I'm sure they will do. Coming. But no, sometimes you become a victim of your own success, probably, from other people's eyes. But I've certainly learnt more in this season than what I've probably learnt in my whole managerial career.
And obviously the parting of the ways was not something you anticipated or envisaged. How did you feel about that?
To be honest, I looked at it, I just think to be removed in the bar, I think, in that way, with my relationship with the football club chairman, that everybody, I think was a bit below the belt, but that's if that's the way it wants to be done, that's the way it's got to be done. But I'll always class myself as a loyal, I'll back anybody's corner. And it was, in front of my wife and my daughter, I thought, come on, it's better than that. And which, say it hurt, it did, but as like I said, you can be too trustworthy and too loyal, and I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned this season, to be honest. I've had a couple of calls since, but whatever I do next, it's got to be right for me. The good thing is I'm still in contact with lots of people, lots of the players. So just great times, and let's see what the next chapter brings.
I was going to say, final question really is, how do you see the future?
As I said, I've had a break. I'm out watching loads of games. I'm doing bits for different managers, looking at players, looking at systems, looking at styles of football in the leagues above, leagues below, and whatever comes next, I will. What's the word? Pick what fits, should I say? Which fits in with what I want to do, and obviously with my family as well. But I'm not going to rush into the next available thing, because I don't need to. I'm going to, my record shows that what I do, and like I said, I'll back myself to, and in that as well, I mean everyone around me, staff, and it's not just about me, it's about the players and the whole shebang. But I want to get that together and go on to the next chapter, challenge, whatever it may be.
And your proudest moment at Coalville, because you had all those highs, is it possible to pick one?
You've got to say managing at Wembley was fantastic, but then going up levels, and then like I said, you're winning at Notts County, and you've then at Charlton, 2 arenas of English football. So you're looking at all different all different things, and I think there's that many to pick from. It's like you say about your favourite ever player, or who's the best player, but everybody's contributed to where we've been as a team, in all different ways, and I'll take pride in the lads that have managed. The lads that have managed who are now going on to be managers and doing very well. I spoke about Cam Stewart, who was my captain, who's managing and doing very, very well. And like I said, lots of lads playing in the Football League who have managed. So I'll take on that as a, as proud moments, really. Made lots of mistakes, don't we all? But if you don't make mistakes, you don't become better. So that's how I look at things.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you down, Adam. Really enjoyed it, and getting a bit of an insight to your time at Coalville. Just like to say, whatever you do in the future, wish you all the very best, and I'm sure everybody at Coalville does as well.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Adam.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.